I got my
to be
head
able
in the
to make this
stars.
work.
No,
Strongo,
yeah,
strongo. That's where we are, strongos. Yes.
no, it's true. Like, there are people out here that think that, you know, oh man, it's nice. You get to travel and you're on this lavish vacation all of the time, and you get to go to all these cool places, which all of that, I mean, is true. Like, you do get to go to a lot of cool places. I just came from Ventura County. Like, it's a great place to be. But like, you're working all day. You show up at night, you check into your hotel, you're probably exhausted because you just traveled several hours in traffic at rush hour. Um, you live out of a suitcase, like, I don't know about you, but my skincare regimen is got several parts to it. So I've got to carry around a suitcase and a toiletry bag that's got my blow dryer and my curlers and my makeup bag and all the stuff that keeps me like a normal person, because you can't wash your hair every day with hotel shampoo. You can't rely on your hotels to have a blow. I've been to places they don't even have a blow dryer, so it's like, do I go to work with sopping wet hair in the morning? Like, it's just, again, it's not glamorous. It's not glamorous. And I'm not going to say that there are not some great experiences that I've been able to take advantage of, like, while on work mode. I absolutely have, but it's also a lot of like checking in and unpacking and then repacking before you leave in the morning and taking your suitcase with you and like living out of that suitcase. And it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then for me, like I was just mentioning yesterday, um, I teach probably like 40 different classes, like 40 or 50. I don't even have a count of them. And I might be exaggerating and I might be way off. I might teach 100. I have no idea. But I will say that you go from like one mode to the next to the next. Like, I'm not teaching the same class every single day, which, by the way, I hate teaching the same class every single day. I really like it, but you're having to like keep your notes in your mind, and you're having to like time things perfectly, and like it's a lot of like mental load to do all of those things, making sure you pack right. What happens if your shoes are uncomfortable halfway through the day, which happens to me? Can I tell you the best story ever, why Mr. Salcedo is the best, like the best person in the whole wide universe? Like, I love that dude so much. So yesterday I wore some new shoes for this class I was doing, and I'm really into like cute tennies right now, like professional looking tennies. So I just bought these really, really freaking cute Pumas, and I was so excited to wear them to work. And so because I had like little, like high water type little work pants on, very cute Costco $6 pants on, I wanted to wear those shoes. And so I had these short socks, right? The no-show socks. So like halfway through the day, my shoe is rubbing in all the wrong places because my sock is not high enough to like protect that little part of my ankle. And so I go to lunch and my husband's like, "Hey, how are you doing? How's your day?" He always asks me, how's your class going? I'm like, "Everything's good. It's just my feet hurt and my ankle is rubbing on the back of my shoe. I'm probably going to get a blister." He's like, "Well, what socks are you wearing?" And I told him, "Oh, just on my little no-show socks." He's like, "Well, here, I have ankle socks. Take mine." So my husband gave me the socks off of his feet, the socks off of his feet, so I could put his socks on that were more cushioned, and it went up a little bit higher. And it saved the freaking day. Like, the rest of the day was great. My feet stopped hurting. My ankle wasn't rubbing anymore. And you couldn't even see. Like, if that's not love, I don't know what is. It just was. But again, that's like the gratitude you were talking about later. Like, I was just so grateful going back. Like, that's a good dude right there. I'm glad I picked him. I'm glad that I stalked him until he gave up and went into submission. I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Grateful for violating that restraining order. I'm just joking.
Mm. Hey,
But
I don't judge. Yeah.
I mean, that's happened before where like an outfit, you're in front of people, and then all of a sudden you look down and there's coffee down the front of your shirt, and you're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I don't know if that happened. I'm a slob, so that happens to me all the time. So I'll go
Happened to
do
me Monday.
wardrobe changes, or
Yeah,
I plan
happened.
outfits in my mind, and then I go to put them on, and then I look like a freaking Olive Garden waiter. And I gotta go stand in front of 35 people looking like I'm gonna bring unlimited breadsticks all day. Like just little stupid stuff like that, which I know is maybe unimportant, but when you're like coming in as like an authority or a professional, like you have to look put together. And so if you don't look put together, like you lose credibility almost immediately until they get to know you. And so like how you dress and how you present yourself is like incredibly important. And so when my outfit's not right or my shoes aren't right or whatever, it just like puts turns me off. It gets I get in my own head. And so sometimes I have to just make jokes about it. Like that day that I was dressed like a waiter, it was the beginning of a series. And so I just told them, like, again, this looked better in my mind, but I'm going to be bringing unlimited breadsticks all day. So if you need a refill, just call me over. Like what else can you do? But nobody cared. I cared, but nobody else seemed to care. But you
Sure.
get in your own head sometimes. And I think that's another thing with being a trainer is that we get in our own head. Sometimes we finish a training and we're like, oh, I could have done so much better. I should have said this. I could have done that. I wish I would have done it different. And nobody knows that you didn't do it perfectly except for you 90% of the time. And if you do it wrong, they'll tell you. Trust me. They'll tell you.
Well, that's something to remember, right? People don't know what they don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you're having conversation with people, you may think you just messed up. You have the golden ticket to knowledge and the secret sauce, and
Mm-hmm.
you stumble all over it and have oil splatters all over your cream shirt, right? And you don't realize that you look like, Swiss cheese. And, and you fluff up the theory, or you trip over the words and you get frustrated and flustered. And people are just like, oh my, I never thought about that before. I never thought about that. It's something that, well, if you haven't thought about it before, well, why do we? Because we study that stuff, and that's what we're there to do, to impart that wisdom. But we are our toughest critics very often,
Yeah.
right? And if we're doing it right, so as far as I'm concerned, if I'm doing it right, I'm really self-examining how I'm doing it and making sure that, I provide as much energy and as enthusiasm as I can. If no one else is going to be up for a class starting at 8:30 in the morning, it damn well better be the instructor,
Right.
right?
Right.
I talked to him about it today with my class of managers and supervisors for a state agency here in Oakland and in their leadership academy, and just talking about that idea of what you bring, your influence is greater than you know. If you don't think that
Mm-hmm.
you're making an impact in the lives of the people that, are following you and looking at you, then you really need to examine what it is that you're doing, right? And I said, we don't always have our best. We're not always our best. And I asked him, I said, is it easy to be consistent? And a lot of people say, yeah, it's easy to be consistent. I said, what if you wake up with a migraine? Is it easy to be consistent? What if you drank coffee after 5 o'clock at night? So now you can't get to sleep like I did last night. I think I probably got about 5 hours sleep, and I was
Mm-hmm.
beating myself up at 2:30 in the morning, like, you idiot. Right. And but you still got a class the next day. You can't just call and say, oh, you know what, I'm not feeling it. Can we just postpone this? That doesn't work that way. We don't get sick days,
Right.
right? And we don't get to choose, if I choose vacation during my busiest time of the year, you know, how am I gonna make up for when we're not so busy? My
Yeah.
best friends in the whole world right now in this moment are out of this country enjoying beautiful Costa Rica. And I told them, I said, I can't commit to a week anything right now because this is the time of the year. And also and when they told me in the fall, I had already had things booked this week. And I said, I can't do it that week. Well, we don't have another week. And you guys have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And well, you never get to do those things. Yeah, you're right. I never get to do those things. You're right. Right. But this is the life that we've chosen. I feel like we're in the mafia, Tiff. This
Yeah.
is the life we've chosen. It's
Yeah.
omerta, right? You know, But they're in Costa Rica. Do I wish I was in Costa Rica? Yeah, but would I give up this class with this cohort of folks who are amazing? No, I
Yeah.
wouldn't want anybody else to do that, right? I'm really enjoying it. So, there's give and takes to everything. But we don't have any sick days. I taught an entire week in December with barely a voice. I
Mhm.
mean, not even a voice, just really straining my vocal cords, right? I just got my voice back maybe about 3 weeks ago, right? But it was something that I knew I needed to do because we worked really hard to schedule these classes. And
Mhm.
two, if I said I can't teach because I don't have a voice, well, I got a mortgage to pay in January, dude. I mean, what am I supposed to do, right? And
Exactly.
so these are the the um, the highlights and the struggles of people who have chosen to do this. And I've chosen I mean, I'm not saying, well, like people, well, you made this choice. You're absolutely right. I made this choice and I wouldn't choose anything else. But there are things that you have to reckon with, right? You have to reckon with the fact that you're not home.
Yeah.
You have to reckon with the fact that, if you run into temperature, right? That's how much money you're losing that day, right? You got to keep yourself safe. You got to keep yourself healthy, right? You know, there's no late nights. And I mean, thank God I'm 52. I can't do a late night anyway anymore. But, just even those long travel nights, right?
Yeah. I was gonna
That
say
next day,
sometimes those late nights are not optional because you get off at 4, and if you and the class is over at 4, you're not off at 4. You still there's still stuff to do. So if you can get out of somewhere by like 4:30, I don't know. I'm always like, I'm gonna be off at 4, but I'm never out of the classroom before like 4:30. It's wild. And then you've got to jump in your car and go to the next spot or go catch a flight or whatever, and then check in the hotel. Like, I'm so efficient at hotel check-ins. I'm so efficient at like all things travel. It's a skill at this point. But um yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And again, I'm like you. I'm not, this is not, it's not a complaint because I love the work, and to do the work you got to deal with the stuff that comes on the side of it. You get used to it, you adjust, you find your groove, but um it
well, we
definitely
interact
takes
with
some
people.
conditioning.
Yeah, we interact with people who think that we're living the high life
Right.
and that, you know, there's, I mean, they're just taking advantage of such glamorous things. I'm in a Holiday Inn Express eating, Hawaiian barbecue, which was not made by Hawaiians. Because let me tell you, this macaroni salad is not seasoned.
Oh,
So, and I'm sitting at a desk talking to you right now, right?
yeah.
And I mean, I love doing this, and I love, what me and Tiff got, in this podcast. But if I was at home sitting in my captain's chair with my snazzy microphone, right?
Yeah.
Then that would be cool too, right? But like I said, why not? Because I get to teach my cohort of state employees to again tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And they were so excited when we left today, talking about what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I can't wait. I can't wait to, when we're done with this, to get into my notes for tomorrow and prepare for that, to provide some of that information on conflict resolution that they're so worried about. All these managers that are afraid of, how do I have this conversation with somebody? How do I improve people's engagement? And how do I hold people accountable? It's really hard. People have excuses. I said, well, what if you try to hold people accountable? Well, I don't like having those difficult conversations. Cool. We're gonna have that conversation tomorrow. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I'm here. And, you know, there ain't too many other things that I really, really look forward to anymore than helping somebody who really values what it is that we do.
Hmm.
So, you know, I I'm in a good place. I'm tired. I'm a
I'm tired.
battered performer, but I'm in a good place. Right. So I had a couple questions. I want to ask you a little lightning round, Tiff.
Okay.
Right. A little lightning round. Shoo, 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 shoo. Right. And so on the road in your 8 years, or did you say 7 or 8 years? 7 years, right?
Actually, it's almost 9 years. Almost 9 years I've been doing this.
Right on.
9 years. It'll be nine
So,
years in August.
okay. So, Tiff, what is your favorite moment or favorite experience? What's that story?
I've had a lot of good moments, let me tell you, but I think the one that's like my favorite, it's the funniest. Um, so I was working for a new county I was working for Orange County. Okay, so Orange County, and it was my first time doing a class for them. And I live pretty close to Orange County. So my husband and I came together to get there the night before. And he worked in Corona, which was like 30 minutes away from where I was working, but going against traffic. So he's like, I'll go with you and then I'll leave for work in the morning and then I'll come pick you up when you're off. Cause I'm like, I'll just Uber because I was like staying like a mile away from the place. So he leaves for work. He starts work at 6 a.m. So we get there the night before, we unload everything, go out to dinner, go to sleep, wake up in the morning. I go to take a shower. He's already gone. I go to take a shower and there's no hot water. And there's a lot of things I will sacrifice in this life, but I hate a cold shower. I'm like one of those people who get in the shower and it's boiling hot and I want it to be hotter, hotter, hotter. Like I love a hot shower. If it doesn't hurt, it's not warm enough. Okay. So nonetheless, I take a cold shower, which already has gotten me off on the wrong foot. So then I go to get dressed, I get my work clothes on, and then I make the realization that my work shoes, that my nice work shoes that go with my nice outfit, are in the back of the car, which is now at my husband's job. And all I have is Birkenstocks because that's what I came in the night before. So I have this like suit on. It's a really nice suit because I'm thinking Orange County is fancy. I have to wear a suit. So I wear the suit and all I have is freaking Birkenstocks. And so already cold shower, don't have the right shoes. And now I go down to catch my Uber and my Uber's like not there. My Uber's not there. I'm like, where are you at? I'm here. Where are you at? I'm here. No, we're not here. Well, wherever I pinged at, I didn't know that there was another DoubleTree like a mile or two away from the DoubleTree I was at. So the Uber driver's at the wrong DoubleTree and I'm at the other DoubleTree. But I don't know that there's another DoubleTree. So it's kind of like who's on first? I'm who, because I'm like, I'm at the DoubleTree. I'm right here in the front. I'm here right here in the front. Like it was the most ridiculous thing. So we finally figured it out. I get picked up. I get dropped off at the office and I'm late. I've been late twice in the 9 years I've showed up late. This was the second time. The first time was Stockton, and I didn't know that you had to park 4 miles away and then hike uphill both ways, but I learned nonetheless. So I come in, I come in, and I'm like, it. By the way, it was a class on presentations. This is the ironic thing. So I come in and I say, it's 9:03, by the way, it's 9:03, and I come in and I say, so I'm here to teach you about presentations. And the first rule of thumb is always be on time and make sure you have appropriate footwear. And then we all just laughed. And I said, I'm so sorry. Can you all give me like a few minutes to get my life together? And they said, sure. So I got to set up. I had 35 people in this classroom. It was a full class of people who wanted to learn how to do presentations. I get myself set up, which I do a quick setup. I'm the queen of setups. I can be ready to present in 3 minutes, right? So get everything set up. I'm not a Nora. I'm the opposite of Nora. Nora gets there the night before. I get there right when I need to be there. So um, I get set up and we just kind of take a moment to laugh about it. Like, here's the thing with presentations. You can plan as great as you want, but something's always going to happen and you just got to be able to go with it. So we all got a good laugh about it. We go through the class. One of the gentlemen, because I said, part of this class is you will be given a presentation. So like start thinking about that now. So one of the guys came up to me. He's I'm absolutely terrified of doing presentations. Like you don't understand, like cold sweats. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And I said, well, I've been doing this for a while, sir, and I can tell you, like wholeheartedly, nobody's ever died. So, like, you won't be my first casualty. I promise you will survive this. But let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. So we go to lunch. We come back from lunch, and it's very warm outside. And I have now taken off my suit jacket, and I have like a nice shirt on underneath, and it was in like an embroidered shirt. And it's funny because when I put it on that morning, I said to myself, like, I think it's time to retire this shirt because this embroidery is starting to look a little rough. Like, I think it's time to retire it. So anyway, so now here I am after lunch, and one of the young ladies comes out to me. She says, "I think your shirt's inside out." I was like, "What?" She's like, "The tag on your shirt is like on the outside. I think your shirt's inside out." So wouldn't you know, wrong shoes, showed up late, and I have my shirt inside out. So again, all I can do is laugh about it. So I go and I excuse myself. I go put my shirt on right, and then the guy that said that he was afraid of giving a presentation, I was like, and now my shirt was inside out. And he's like, "Oh my God, I thought you did that on purpose. I thought that that was part of the whole thing." I said, "No, I'm just a hot mess in a dumpster fire, apparently today. So, no, that wasn't intentional. I'm just sometimes you put your shirt on inside out." And he says, "I feel much better about doing my presentation." And so anything that could have went wrong went wrong. And he, by the way, that gentleman, he did his presentation on being terrified about presentations. And it was one of the best presentations I had ever seen in my life. But that was like the funniest moment that, again, here I am trying to come in and be professional. And it was just one thing after another after another. But I will say that that audience was like, "You just didn't let it bother you." And I'm like, I've been a trainer for a long time. I'm dead inside. Like nothing embarrasses me anymore. Like nothing. So all of these things, it's just like Murphy's Law. When if it could go wrong, it will go wrong. And that's exactly what happened. And so that was like one of my funnest days. It was just a series of unfortunate events that just kept going and going and going. But it was a great moment. It was funny. It's my favorite moment. What about you, Carl? Do you ever go to work in your Birkenstocks with your shirt inside out?
No, but I have four belts.
You have four belts because you always forget your belt.
Hmm.
That's
And
funny.
so my wife always, "Did you bring your belt?" So now I try to beat her to it. And last week I called her and I said, "I got my toothbrush, got my keys, got my wallet, and I hold on." And she goes, "You didn't take your belt, did you?" I said, "We're not talking right now." I went back in the house and grabbed my belt. Yeah, but yeah, so I have four belts.
Oh,
But I think
oh, the things.
yeah, and the funnest things are just being able to travel. My favorite moments are just going to places that maybe don't have a lot of um opportunities to see folks that are, doing this and doing this hard like we do, and going to places like Sierra County, right?
Yes.
And Mono and working with the one person who is the case manager eligibility worker and supervisor for Alpine County.
Gabe. Gabe.
Yeah, yeah, he
That
doesn't
works
know
for the
he's not there
tribe.
anymore. He works for the tribe now,
I know.
right?
I'll say he
So
works for the tribe
yeah,
now. Yeah.
yeah. But just seeing the tribal workers, just it warms my heart every time working with folks, like we did with the Tribal Tanif Institute every year. It's the only training they get,
Yeah.
and they're so eager and dedicated and happy to be there. And I mean, those are just things that just remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing, and you know, trying to give that best energy that I have and be my best self all the time. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of different moments, right? And so on the road, Tiff, what's your favorite pastime? What do you like to do other than go to Big Sally's
Big
from the
Sally's.
valleys?
You're talking Big Helen's. Okay, that was Big Helen's,
Big
not Big
Helen's. Okay,
Sally's.
yes. Okay, Big Helen's.
Um, I like to go find a local place to have dinner. Like I like to go, like I try to avoid chain restaurants whenever possible, with the exception of Ono Hawaiian Barbecue, believe it or not. I love me some. I think I eat Ono Hawaiian Barbecue on the road almost every trip. I stop at least one
Not
time.
this one.
Yeah. No, well, I always get the same thing. I always get the number 44 with a side salad and a drink. That's my jam. But but I do like to go to local places. I love dive bars, even if I'm not drinking. I love I love to find a dive bar where like local people hang out, and that's like my favorite pastime. If there's a body of water, like if it's by the ocean or if there's a lake or something nearby, with the exception of Clear Lake, with the exception of Lake County, I like to go out and go chill by the water or go for a walk by the water or whatever. But it a lot of it honestly depends on if I'm by myself or I'm with my partner. Because if I'm by myself, I usually stick close to the hotel. I don't venture out a lot by myself, just as a person traveling alone. It's rough out on these streets sometimes, and a lot of times I don't know where I'm at or where I should be, so I stay fairly close to my hotel. But when I have someone with me, then I like to go out and explore and go to dive bars and stuff like that.
Yeah, that reminds me, you were talking about some of the cool places we get to go to. But the cool sights that we get to see are usually in the car through our windows,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, as beautiful as it is in Ventura, I can't tell you how many times I've actually spent time in somewhere other than a training room or in my hotel room, right? And the same with anything else. Driving through Lake, I love driving through Lake County. Love driving through Clear Lake, but no, I'm not stopping, to dip my toes in the water, right? But just driving up to Del Norte, driving to Humboldt, seeing the beautiful trees. I love that. It's a great drive. Driving on the
Yeah.
395 up to Mono, it's fantastic. But how often do I get to really stop and smell the roses, right? So a lot of people think, oh, you get to go to all these cool places. Yeah, we get to go to these cool places. We get to drive by them and enjoy the view from our windshield, right?
Yeah.
And so it's um
Yeah.
it's definitely something, that but if it wasn't fun, I'd love driving through that Feather River Canyon, getting to what you call it, on the way up to Lassen County or into Quincy, right? Those little things like those are so cool. It's so much fun. But
Yeah.
it's not where I'm stopping to take a picture, smell the roses, grab a kayak, and do all these wonderful things. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You don't get to do a whole lot of that unless you spend like an extra night, which is frowned upon.
yeah.
So a lot of times it's just go, 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 go. So again, we might be training for 6 hours of the day, but most of my days when I'm traveling are probably like closer to 10 or 12-hour days when you really think about it. And that's not including like the time in the morning that you have to get up early to make sure you get everything packed up and you don't forget anything at the hotel, because it's not like you can just go back and get it, because you're 6 hours away the next day. So
But
yeah, it's a lot.
if I have time, if I have a back to back in the same place, I'll try to find a movie theater, or if there's a minor league baseball park, or if I'm in San Francisco, go to a Giants game, or whatever else it is, just to be able to just not just be holed up. So multiple days, I might find something to do, even if it's by myself, or visit one of my many friends in the different counties. But if I'm just here for one night, it's real difficult.
That part right there. So I think one of the benefits of doing this for a long time is I do make friends everywhere I go. And so a lot of times I have someone I can call, like when I go to Bishop, I call my friend Sam. Or my friend, we have another friend that's gonna take my husband fishing because my husband wants to learn how to fish. And so when we go this next time, Kurt's gonna take my husband fishing. So And then, Mono County. Oh my God, Mono County is like treats you like royalty when you go. I don't know how you get treated, but the very first time I didn't even work for UC Davis yet. I went to Mono County to help them with their C4 conversion. I was one of the C4 coaches, and I went there for a week, but it was in December and it was snowing. And I told them I've never driven in snow before and I don't know what I'm doing. And I just have a county car. And they were like, we'll pick you up every day. And they would pick me up every morning from my hotel. They would take me out to lunch. They'd take me back to my hotel. And then they'd send somebody in the evenings to take me out to dinner. And that was every single day. And they still are like that. I'd never go to Mono without Francie taking me out to lunch, like every single time. But then, like I have a hard time in the Sacramento area because I have several friends over there. And so it's hard to like know I'm here for one night. Like this is why I can't have hoes in all these area codes because it's so hard. Like my best friend lives in Sacramento. I have another good friend that lives in Folsom. I have my old director that wants to always meet for dinner, and I want to spend time with all of these people. But a lot of times it's so overwhelming. I just drive through and like keep to myself because I'm like I don't have time for everybody. So how do I make time for anybody? The only ones I like super prioritize um, is my children. When I'm driving through like where my children are at, I try to meet them somewhere if I'm close by because they live, far away. So if I'm in the area, we'll meet for dinner or whatever. And that's always awesome. And when my dad was still alive, I always made it a point to go see my dad. Like even if it was a little off the path, if I was anywhere near that area, I would go stop at my dad's house because that's what good daughters do. Um, but yes, the social life is really tough. And so like I have some friends from where I used to live that are like, when are you going to be in town? And I'm like, July of 2026. Like, what are you doing? And then if you do it spontaneous, like, hey, I'm coming to town like tomorrow, what are you up to? It's like sometimes hard for people to get away on a Tuesday night and like meet for dinner or, like I don't know what time I'll be driving through because of traffic, but I'm coming from Oakland and I'm headed to Bakersfield. Like, can I call you when I'm 30 minutes away and see if you can drop everything in your life and meet me for Thai food? It's a lot. And so I don't know how you are, but I literally have like two friends because it's hard to maintain friendships with this type of lifestyle because you're literally gone like all the
Yeah.
time. And then I'm
Yeah.
home and I don't want to do anything. I don't know if you go through that too, where like I've been on the road all week and I'm like, I just want to be still. Like I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to be social. I don't want to eat out. I get so sick of eating out. I get so sick of eating out. Like I can't even describe to you. Like sometimes like I just want to eat a sandwich at my house. And so I get really like burnt out on restaurant food, which I know it sounds so elitist, but um it gets so old eating out every day, especially if you're trying to like eat healthy. If you're trying to eat like a certain diet, it's nearly impossible to be able to maintain like a healthy unless you're eating like the house salad at a restaurant with chicken breast on it. You know what I mean? Like there's not a whole lot of like super healthy options that are decent. It's rough. It's
Yeah.
rough.
As I'm eating rice and bland macaroni salad right now. It's salad, but yeah, with chopsticks because they did not bring a fork.
Mm,
So yeah, eating macaroni
yeah.
salad with a fork.
Nice.
Bougie, bougie, bougie. No, it's not bougie. It's necessity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be my hands.
But yeah, so that part, and again, it sounds like we're complaining, but I'm just saying there's so many good benefits, but there's also again some real things. Like if I never see a hotel breakfast again, I'll be so happy. Like I just don't even eat breakfast anymore because if I go to like where the hotel breakfast is being made, I'm like disgusted immediately. I can't stand the smell of it. I hate it so much. I take the stairs a lot of times to not walk through the lobby to not have to smell the breakfast because it nauseates me. That's how much like I just got goosebumps thinking about it. Terrible, terrible.
I usually just grab oatmeal if it's available,
Mm-mm.
but then sometimes the oatmeal doesn't have brown sugar and raisins, and then I'm like, well, Screw that noise.
I um I don't eat breakfast now anymore really much. So I've never been a huge breakfast person anyways, but I have to have good coffee.
Yeah.
And coffee on the road also gets really old. Like going to like I don't go to Starbucks. I'm boycotting Starbucks forever and always. But like just even local coffee shops, number one, they're not always consistent, and then two, so expensive.
Hmm.
So expensive. Like I'm up to like my coffee, the way I drink it is almost like $10 now. Like because you can get an espresso drink there. It's only two shots. I drink four shots. So I have to pay like $1 for every extra shot. And then I don't drink regular milk. I drink oat milks. And then they have to switch to oat milk. And that's $675. Like it's ridiculous. So this is my new thing because I already carry my suitcase, my backpack, which is like my whole office, my toiletry bag, which is like a full like tote bag. But now I'm bringing a coffee bag. I'm bringing a coffee bag. I'm literally making a to-go coffee set. So I have an electric kettle. I bought instant espresso powder that I've been experimenting with at home to get the right ratio. I just got a milk frother. Um, and I'm getting this little cooler pack that you can like have chilled and then a not chilled area so I can carry my oat milk with me and make my coffee in my hotel room because I'm not drinking K cups. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those people. A K cup to me is like ashtray water. You can't force me to drink that. Like I'll be a hostage for my whole life. They're like, well, for you as a hostage, just drink this K cup. I'm like, no, keep me here. I'd rather die. Um, oh,
Into the mind of Tiffany Salcedo.
oh. So, anyways, I'm gonna have my own portable little coffee thing with me too, so I can save $10 a day and I can have good coffee. That's my next. I'm building my set as we speak.
Well, so let me ask you. So, we all follow the words of the immortal Nora Gerber. And one of the things she always says is pack your shoe. So, what's in your go bag? What's in your go bag, Tiff? You never know when
So
you have to jam, right?
I always so my office in a bag. I have a North Face backpack, which this backpack I replace it probably every 4 years or so, but I get the same exact one, just in different colors. It's funny. But in my go bag for work, like my to go to work bag, I have my laptop and sometimes depending on where I'm at, I have my second monitor because there are times where I have to train from like a hotel room. I have to have a second monitor. So laptop, sometimes second monitor, any of my training books. If there's a book that goes with it, I bring the book. I have a bag of markers that have both dry erase and smelly markers just in case. My calendar always comes with me. I have a portable speaker. I have an HDMI cord and I have a clicker and all of my charging stuff for my like it's all very organized. I have like series of Clinique to go makeup bags with different stuff. So I have like my charger bag with my clicker and my cords, and then I have my markers, and then I have all of that stuff. So I carry everything but a projector with me in my like office bag, and then I also carry my like business cards and stuff in there. Um, and then in my toiletry bag, that's a whole nother thing. It's got my whole skincare routine, my blow dryer. You know what I forget all the time though? You know, you with belts, I a brush. I can't tell you how many times I've had to go buy a brush because somehow my brush comes out of my bag somehow and it doesn't go back in there. I started carrying an extra one in my backpack, but that too has been displaced. I don't know what it is with me and hairbrushes, but I've had to go down to the hotel lobby like with soaking wet hair asking for like a comb and they have those like combs that they give you on picture day, like those really thin plastic holograms of a comb. And I'm trying to get
And
through
if it
my
wasn't
wet.
a comb, it could double as a to-go tooth
Yeah,
brush. Yeah.
yeah. So I've had to like try to comb my wet tangled hair with that little tiny comb, hoping it doesn't break. Um, but yeah, I think for the most part, like I just pack like I've learned how to pack smart for them like clothing wise, especially when you're like 5 days. I don't carry more than a carry on. That's the biggest bag that I'm going to take these days. And so I can fit enough for 11 days worth of clothes in a carry-on because I'm smart now. I learned how to like mix and match and just pack really strategically. The only thing is that again, sometimes I plan outfits in my mind and then I get there and I don't like the way it looks. And so I've been known to go buy a new outfit because I don't like the one that I brought. Yeah, to my own financial demise. But um what's in your to go? And now the coffee kit coming soon.
I have about 20 Keurig ashtray cups in my bag right now. And
Bless you.
courtesy of IHG.
Yeah. I used to save them and give them to my friends because I'm like, I paid for these.
Well,
I don't
if
anymore.
If I'm in Fresno County, that they have two Keurig stations. So I would say, well, I have my own Keurig, right? Anyways, yeah, I have my laptop, my cord. That's definitely an important piece. I have
Mhm.
two laptop cords because one did not make it one time, and so um,
Done that several times.
I have that. I have a clicker. I have um, uh, thumb drives, like five
Oh
different
yeah,
thumb
same,
drives, just in
same.
case. I have my smelly markers, and I need to buy a new set of smelly markers because I think people have been snorking them so much that they're drying out.
Yeah.
Even though they're not the fun markers that we grew up with, they're non-toxic, right? So, but still, people love them. And then I have my book that I write notes in, and
Hmm.
then I have scissors. I have a pair of scissors that were confiscated
Yes.
at the state building yesterday, and it took me 10 minutes to get them today.
Yeah, I don't
And
carry scissors. Yeah.
yeah, well, then they swore that I had a battery in my backpack today. I'm like, I don't have a battery. Can you open up your bag? Sure. Um, and really that's and I carry my external speakers in the back of the
Hmm.
car, and I carry my question cards. I carry a couple games, so I have a couple tent poles. I use my tent pole game, and I have a set of nine uh, practice tennis balls that I use for another game that I do, just in case we got to mix it up and I'm with somebody for 2 or 3 days, right? Just to keep it fresh, keep it moving. Um, so I got a bag of tricks that's there. I also, in that bag of tricks is a set of um, really cheap generic Bic pens in case, somebody doesn't have a pen, right? It used to be Holiday Inn Express pens,
Hmm. Hmm.
but they don't supply those here anymore anyway. So I guess they're tired of people stealing them.
Nailing
We're
them.
getting to the end. We're getting to the end of this podcast. They're stealing them, right? So that's in my go bag, right? I would make sure I pack my chute. I got my stuff together. I just bought a second monitor. Zoom changed its the last update. Anything you move in front of the camera just makes it all black, and it's annoying. So I just bought a second monitor that I have on my desk right now. But that'll be coming with me when I'm training in Ventura because I'll be in a hotel room, right? And
Hmm.
so, but just yeah, that's what I carry. I make sure that, I'm covered with the essentials. I do not carry flip chart paper. I do not carry I do have um blue tape as well.
I don't have blue tape.
'Cause, yeah, 'cause not everyone has the sticky markers, the sticky flip charts. So yeah.
Some
But
people
then
don't have anything. I just make it work, you know? You
that's
just
right.
make it work.
We make it work. I have my phone which has a hotspot.
Yep. My phone and I used to have a separate hotspot that I carried. Um, and I it broke and I didn't replace it, but I haven't needed it. I haven't needed
Yeah.
it. So far
Yeah,
my mobile hotspot works pretty good.
yeah, and I have unlimited data, so it's just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have to be down for whatever, like super
Yeah,
flexible because sometimes your technology doesn't work. Sometimes the cords don't work. Sometimes there's no internet. Sometimes there's no electricity. That's happened to me. I've trained with no electricity, like a whole class with zero electricity. And it was so funny because the year before they asked for more videos And so I spent so much time like curating videos for this class, and then we could play none of them because we had no electricity for the whole training, and we
That
just went
happened to
old
me.
school.
That happened to me in Susanville.
Hmm.
We had no, I swear we had a candle.
Yeah, yeah. But you just
And
roll with it.
we had a candle and I was making little,
Hmm. Yep,
and
yep.
but the problem was the night before it was 20 degrees and the electricity went out and I was freezing my little tush off with
Hmm.
Motel 6 covers. And then the generator kicked in, but the generator was for the part of the Motel 6 where the office was. So not mine, not my side. And
Right.
the real kicker was that it was right next to my door. So it was providing noise that kept me up all night and heat for the other part of the freaking Motel 6. And I swear it was mocking me.
Yeah, yeah,
So, and we say, so yeah, those are fun times, fun times, fun times. So Tiff,
yes.
as we get to the end of this, what advice do you have for our young and ambitious wannabe trainers?
Couple of things, maybe a few things. The first thing I will say is develop really thick skin. Um, and I mean this with like all sincerity, like the joy of evaluations and like at the end of the class is that people get to tell you what they learned and what they liked and how you did. But it's also an opportunity for people who didn't want to be at that training or who are mad at life to take out all of their frustrations on you. And it gets really personal. Like I've had from the same class, someone say, "This is the best class I've ever had. Thank you so much." And in the same class, someone say, "What a waste of taxpayer dollars. Why do we keep paying for this type of crap?" So, like, get thick skin. Like people will give you feedback, and if it can help you improve, like use it to improve. But sometimes it has nothing to do with you, and you can't take it personal. And that's really hard. Like I had someone like go completely off on me in a class one time, said I was a racist, ableist, sexist, fat shaming, homophobic, like every ism ableist that you can think of. Just really hit everything that I could be that I despise, and I like internalized that for a really long time. Like what did I do to that person? Like what did I say that caused them to feel that way? And then am I a racist? Am I an ableist? Did like I had like again I went really hard and introspectively there to really kind of consider like what did I say that was so infuriating, and I finally had to chalk it up to that wasn't about me. It wasn't about me. I still am aware of what I say. I never want anybody to feel that way, but like not all feedback is about you, and you just have to like know when it's constructive and when it's just give given for not the right reasons, and just have really thick skin. You can't please everybody. You can't please everybody. Um, the second tip I will say is what are you willing to give up to be successful? Because you can't, it's really hard to balance it all. You can't, if you're thriving in your professional life, your personal life might be suffering. And so to really like what do you need to give up to be all in? And if you can't be all in, like how are you going to find that balance? Because it's a lot of, even if you don't do traveling, can I just say, even if you're not a traveling trainer, sometimes people may be starting within their own organization. There's still like a level of sacrifice that goes with that. And I mean that with all sincerity. Like it's a lot of work to stand up in front of people for several hours at a time and keep them engaged and keep them learning and keep them active. It's a real skill set, and it's not for everybody. I know some people who have incredible expertise and knowledge that they're just not great trainers. And I know some people who are great trainers that have no knowledge. Like I don't know what else to tell you. Like where as long as they're on their script, as long as they're on their script with what they want to say, they do fantastic. But when you ask them to go deeper, it completely derails their whole thing. I know a few people like that. But again, it's a skill set that you have to find that balance between technique and content. Um, The last thing I will say is that if you do want to become a trainer, don't just be an expert in whatever it is that you're teaching. You have to be an expert in people. Like I don't know how to say that in any better way. Like you have to be really fluid in your communication styles. You have to do a balance of talking, listening, and engagement in different activities. And so um you can never stop learning how to engage with people and like find your style that works best for you. Don't try to be anybody but yourself. Like find the style that works for you. I know for me, like the style that works best for me is I'm just very conversational in training. And so people feel like they're hanging out with their buddy all day. And then they're at the end of the day, they're like, oh shit, I learned some stuff, like, oh, like that was fun. I can't believe it's over. And I actually learned some things. I have tons of notes here. And that's kind of like that's the style that I've kind of grown into is I just talk with people. I don't talk at them. It's just an all day conversation. And that works for me. So, but find what works for you. Like Nora, we've talked about her a few times. I got most of my trainer training from Nora. And she taught me so many amazing things. And I could never be Nora. Like never in the history of ever could I be Nora because I'm not Nora, I'm Tiffany. And sometimes Anna. Um, but it's like find your style, find your voice, and then just be genuine with it. Because if you're genuine, people will see it. If you're not genuine, people will see it. And it makes it really hard to pay attention when you're not credible. That's all. And don't think you're better than anybody. Also, if you're a trainer who thinks you've got nothing to learn, then you're a horrible trainer. Every trainer has something to learn. So always be willing to learn something new. All right, that's all my tips. That's it. I could keep going. We could do this for another 3 hours, but I know we got places to go, people to see.
Yeah. And my only other tip is to pack a belt.
A bell. A
A
belt.
belt.
Oh, I was like a bell, a belt. No, a belt. Pack a
Pack a
belt
belt and a brush.
and a brush.
You do
And
that, everything is cream cheese.
all right, I have one weird random question for you. This might be TMI for the podcast, but I'm going to ask you anyways. In all of your strategic packing, do you pack extra chonies,
No.
underwear?
My
No?
wife my wife gives me shit about it, and I tell her I don't care. I think it's a guy and a girl thing. Girls always pack extra chonies. Guys, hey, look,
My husband does.
if there's
My
gonna be
husband
skid marks, we're gonna ride that shit out.
See,
Literally.
no, I have to disagree. It might just be you. My husband packs, and we always joke about it. Because we laugh because we always like we're like, how many days are we gonna be gone for? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're gonna be gone for 4 days. All right, I need 8 pairs of underwear, and we always laugh like in case we shit ourselves every day, we have an extra pair. We never have. Let me clarify. We never have, but just in case, you never know. You got to have the extra draws because I'll
I
tell
would
you,
just
there's
say, I'll just say it depends.
it. But yeah, so yeah, you can always count on. I might not have a hairbrush, but I'm always going to have some extra draws, just in case. You never know what could happen, especially eating out every day. You never know. You never
You
know.
know, that reminds me, you know how people say, if you're gonna die, baby, you better die with some clean underwear on. But when you die, you evacuate, so you're never gonna have clean underwear on.
That's
What
true.
the hell? That's something
Can't.
to think about.
Yeah. Well,
Food
let's
for
think
thought.
about that. Yeah. Well,
Okay, thought about it.
yeah, okay, well, I know we gotta go, we gotta go. But I will say, this is the one thing I do think about, and I know this is probably so stupid though. I do think about if I die, what my ghost outfit's gonna be. And sometimes, again, when I have those bad outfit days, I'm always like, I hope I don't die today because I don't want this to be my ghost outfit for the rest of eternity. And then there are other days where I'm like, my outfit like pops just exactly how I wanted it to pop. And I'm like, this could be my ghost outfit. I would be perfectly happy to wear this for eternity. I do think about those things. Don't ask me why, but ghost outfit. I don't want to be I don't want to be ugly for all of eternity. You know what I'm saying?
When you die, you get to wear whatever the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wear my Joe Montana outfit.
Yep. Do it.
You know,
Do it. All right, Carl. Well, look, let's wrap this up because as a trainer, I'm tired. I'm tired and I got to work again tomorrow, all over again. We got to do this all over again tomorrow.
That's right. Rinse, wash, and repeat. All right,
Yeah.
y'all. Well, you be good. And if you're interested in becoming a trainer, give it a try.
Yeah.
Go in with your eyes open and don't be afraid to say this doesn't work for me right now. It might work for you some other time. Right? As
Hmm.
somebody who has finally got it to work after how many takes. So
Yes.
yeah.
And if you need any coaching or training on training, you can always find some support at www.givingthegiftcoaching.com. We'll set some chats up and figure some stuff out. So
Ooh.
that's
And
it.
and and hit me up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carl Rabun,
That's right.
PhD.
Yes. All right, y'all. And until we see you again, I'm Carl.
I'm Tiff. Keep it real, my friends.
And get some clam chowder.
Yeah, for real.
Splash Cafe.